to give you the west side for that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so what's our next subject?
Well, our next subject is a sense of black on black crime.
Oh boy. No.
Black on black crime.
Oh no.
Black on black crime.
Okay, we'll go for black on black crime. We'll go for black on black crime. Go for it.
Okay, so what is black on black crime? It is a made-up phrase that people use to negate away from police brutality. So a lot of people use the term to have a counter argument on why police treat us the way they do, which is unnecessary. Because one, black on black crime isn't based on someone being targeted because of their skin color. It's just a general term that people use to continue to say that we don't love ourselves, that we don't value ourselves, and that we hate ourselves in general. And that's why people use the word or the phrase black on black crime to explain and justify them ignoring the police brutality movement or the Black Lives Matter movement, saying to try to negate away from that the main point of police brutality and us tackling that issue. And so my standpoint on black crime is it's just crime within our community. So I'm going to say crime within our community. Now, we have to think of what are the causes of the crime within our community. It's situational. Every one situation is not the same as the next situation. So when we create a blanket statement as black on black crime, we're making it seem like every crime incident is based on one specific motive. And that's not the case. Now, I do agree with, as far as the crime within our community has escalated or is intensified because of the circumstances that we are placed in this country. If you overpopulate a community, if you give them lack of resources, or they have lack of resources, lack of opportunities, lack of proper education, they're not going to have the same characteristics as a community, predominantly white community, that have those resources and those opportunities in order to advance in life. And so, of course, you're going to have Americans within the black community who are going to be at a disadvantage, and they don't know how to. Sometimes we don't know how to handle conflict. We don't know how to express ourselves effectively. We don't know how to control our emotions because we don't have the resources or maybe just the guidance in order to do so. And so, my standpoint on as far as tackling the issue is providing those resources and investing in the community, and then also a sense of mentorship and guidance. A lot of crime within the community comes from a lack of guidance, a lack of people saying that, you know what, you don't have to do that. There's other options to solve that problem. There's other ways you can address that issue. There's not a lot of people doing that, and it's very unfortunate. And we can blame, it's the family dynamic or the parenting. Okay, yeah, we can blame that. But what are we going to do if we continue to keep complaining about black on black crime? What are we going to do ourselves in order to help our community, in order to be those mentors and those leaders for those young kids who are looking for people to look up to, but all they have is the stereotypical view of a black man? And so that's all they're going to that's all they're going to follow, is because those are the people who are physically there. And I'm speaking of the trappers, the rappers, and maybe some other individuals who may not be doing the right thing. So they're going to they're going to follow those people because those are the only people who are physically there and physically present in that community. And so myself as a teacher, I teach 3rd grade in DC. It's an inner city community, and those kids there, some of them are disadvantaged and they come from rough environments. But in a sense of, I'm going to be there and I'm going to be that positive role model and that positive mentor for them. And I'm going to I feel obligated to do that, especially since I speak on the issues within our community. So if I can't just keep complaining about it. I need to address the situation. I need to be proactive and try to solve the problem within that community.
Okay, well, I personally, I don't use the word black on black crime because it was, that word, was thought up during the Nixon era, created during the Nixon era, and carried on through the Reagan era as a rebuttal to, just like you said, to whenever we bring up police brutality or the heinous acts that are committed against us. So I call it genocide. I think genocide, you look up the definition, and genocide is trying to annihilate a whole population or race of people. And when we're contributing to genocide, that's what I call the crime within our community. And there's no white on white crime, no Mexican on Mexican crime, Asian on Asian crime. That's just why I don't use that. But I understand your point. I think that there is a lack of, like you said, mentorship. A lot of the, I'm an ex-gang member, ex-hustler, I was in the streets for many years of my life, for over half of my life, and I still look good though, But no, I was I was in that lifestyle for a long time, and I was blessed enough to escape that lifestyle and not become a statistic. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing here. So what I do is I try to reach out to different people that come from that same lane, that I recognize their struggles. And I have we used to share the same nepotism, but I my mentality changed. So what I've done is I've tried to, and I know quite a few rappers and celebrities. I don't know how genuine it is, but you see a lot of people that get on there, a lot of entertainers, and they're like, we need to help the black community, but you don't know what their motive is behind it. But we need more people like yourself with genuine motives that are trying to actually help the black community by getting, their feet on the pavement, interacting with the community. That's the only way you're going to do it, because there's a lot of kids out there that, father might be in jail because of mass incarceration. Mama is angry because of what's going on in life. She can't handle raising the kids. Big mama, she too old. You have a lot of disadvantages in our community because the black family unit has been torn apart. Unlike the white family unit is pretty much still intact because it's from generation to generation to generation. Us, we've been destroyed generation after generation, and in 2020 it's even worse. So the only thing we can do, I think, to encourage them to do better and be better is to, hey, don't put them down and say, hey, man, you need to pull your pants up, man. What's wrong with you? Understand where they're coming from. Because if you come at them and be like, hey, well, he might not have a belt. He might have never had nobody to tell him how to tie a tie or put a suit on. So what I do is I come at the young brothers, I say, hey, well, man, what would you give them? I give them an ultimatum. I say, would you rather be hanging out in the street on some 22s or go to the NBA All-Star game? Shoot, I'm trying to go to the All-Star game. You live life. When you get out of that box and you think out of that box, then you can have different experiences in life. You know your value. You know you're more valuable than what's going on in the hood. So that's why I say you have to know once you learn your history, you know your value, and you tend to see things from a different perspective. Then, first and foremost, after you help them, they'll be able to help someone else, because just think about Malcolm X. Where did he come from? He says, I used to snort cocaine, I used to shoot heroin, I used to sleep with white women, eat pork, everything. And he was one of our most prolific fighters that was ever born in the black race. So, instead of, I think that we all have to, take into consideration where people come from. Be stern, be positive, be consistent, and we can make a change. Because that video you sent me this morning where the brother went in there and just shot all the black people up in there, that was sickening. But I look at it like this, there is not going to be no perfect community. So while white people are imposing us to live at a perfection level, they're out here molesting, trafficking, dope dealing, doing everything, but they're holding us to a standards that they can't hold themselves to. So just remember, black people, yeah, we have issues in our community. So don't try to say, well, you don't see the white, you don't see Johnny over. That's a different. They come from a different world. So you just worry about you and do the best that you can do, and be the best that you can be. And the most important thing is you have to have a true representation of self every day you look in the mirror to do that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Yeah. So I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but no, I want to first address the fact that you said with the video, pertaining to the video. Now, as far as the video concerning, if you guys didn't know, it was on Instagram. And you guys can look it up. It happened in Detroit. And of course, the immediate reaction is, you're disturbed. You're disgusted. But since my first reaction is, what was the motive? You know, if we continue to keep that blanket statement, okay, everyone just hates each other within the black community and everyone's just out there killing each other, then we don't really get to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is the motive. What is the motive? What is the emotional state, the mental state of that person? Were they target of or were they targets of violence? Were they attacked before? Were they a sense of injustice was against them as well? You know, so let's think of the motive. Why did he end up going out and retaliating? And so we need to think of the motive, and we need to think of the emotional and mental state of those individuals in that moment, because that really puts in consideration and that helps us prevent the situation from happening again. If you see a disturbed and an angry child and he's just lashing out on people, ask yourself, why is he lashing out on people? Because I'm sure we do the same thing when it's a white little kid, when a white little boy, he's lashing out on people. Well, why is he doing that? He must be mentally ill or has mental instability or have mental health problems. Okay, so we need to consider the same situations when dealing with black boys too, thinking that of their mental and emotional health as well, and that really affects their actions.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And so I agree with you also on that point, that, you know, a lot of it, you know, can come from, deficiencies.
Mm-hmm. And even if it's just environment, social interactions with other people. Mental health does not just pertain to just the severe cases of talking to yourself and screaming at the world. Mental health cases pertains to anxiety, to stress, depression. So imagine this trauma of these kids when they're involved or when they're in an environment that's not supportive, that's not emotionally supportive. You know, and so you have to think of, all right, this child experienced a lot, and we're going to expect this child to cope with the stress and the frustration that he has without even teaching him how to do so. That's where we come in as mentors and leaders. So if we want to complain about black on black crime and the kids don't have any sense and the kids are out there killing each other, all right, so why don't you step up and you be that mentor for them? You help them with that, with conflict resolution. You help them with coping strategies. You help them resolve or with effective communication as well. So you put yourself in their shoes and you help them with that, because they may not have the proper mentor or leader to help them and guide them down the right path.
All right. Well, we agree on that one too.
Okay.